Hello, Mark Shushkevich. I am here with the commie fighting queen, the one and only Morgan Zegers. She is the founder of Young Americans Against Socialism and a Turning Point USA contributor here at SAS 2021. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Obviously, there's a lot going on with Cuba and socialism, but before we get into that, Turning Point USA started by Charlie Kirk at a young age, and you yourself at a very young age went and started Young Americans Against Socialism. Tell us about what motivated you at such a young age to get something like that started.
Yeah, well, the story I always tell, I had a communist roommate, Mark, and so when I was in college, I lived with a girl that had a poster of Mao Zedong, Lenin, Stalin, Karl Marx, and Fidel Castro on her wall. And for me, I was struggling to figure out what to say to somebody like that, who was also saying her ideas would bring progress to the country. And so I really wanted to make sure young Americans understood the history of those ideas of socialism and communism. So I founded the organization to reach people about the facts of history.
And then eventually you became a Turning Point USA contributor, managing your own nonprofit and then getting involved in Turning Point. How did that come about? Why did you decide to juggle the two things?
Well, for me, I just believe in reaching as many people as possible, and Turning Point USA just literally an hour ago announced tpusa.com/live, and so it's going to be starting in September 13th, 3 hours of live content a day promoting all of our contributors, and I'm just one of them, and so I'm really excited to be a part of that, and I can't wait for that to get started. Again, it's on the September 13th.
Definitely. Now, socialism, obviously there's a lot of people scared that you see, like if you're a doctor and you have all these, you're telling somebody they have all these symptoms, you diagnose it with a diagnosis. We have all the symptoms of communism, but what they're trying to do, devalue our currency by giving away free money. All the signs of communism are there. What do you think as far as like what's going on with Cuba now? Are people going to eventually wake up? Because the media makes it seem like Cuba's got it all figured out, healthcare, literacy, education, but in reality, obviously the people aren't happy there. Do you think that this is the timing of right now is a good time for people to start waking up?
Yeah, for me, I think we need to make sure that we're connecting the dots of why Cuba is like this right now. And so what happened in the 50s and 60s is you had socialists and Marxists promising really great utopian ideas. And now we see many decades later the aftermath and the deterioration of the society. And so I hope in America we can make sure that we're connecting the dots for young minds, that what we're hearing right now, the promises, are going to result in what we see in Cuba today, many decades down the road in America. And so it's all about connecting the dots of history and understanding that this is a repeated tale as old as time.
It's easy to sell people on the idea of free stuff. Your sell is a little bit harder, but you seem to be doing a pretty good job. You do have the people that are negative. Obviously, you got negative. I saw you did a video of some of the negative comments that come your way.
Morgan, you are a right-wing, massive rape apologist, pro-life lunatic. That is all about me, exactly. Thanks. So just to set the record clear, my organization is literally asking Democrats and Republicans and everybody in between to come together to find common sense solutions that'll move this country forward. We're only rejecting the concepts of socialism and communism because they're radical, they're dangerous, and they're deadly when they're implemented.
But you have changed people's mind, so I'm assuming that's what keeps you going, that you are making a difference, correct?
Yeah, actually, I had an article written about me recently in the College Fix, and so it's for students, it's a paper for students, and they found a socialist that had seen my stuff and became a capitalist. And you don't get to hear those stories often. I know I'm not going to have like a flip of the switch concept in people's minds, but it's more so about planting the seeds to make them question and have critical thought on these issues, because it's pretty black and white once you fully understand all of the context.
Now, I started getting into politics as a politician in my 30s. And I come to Turning Point and I see, well, I wish I was more involved when I was younger. But then I think about it, I was like, you know what? I really don't. Like, I had a good time in my 20s. I didn't have to worry about a communist threat. But I believe it was Charlie Kirk and SAS who said, like, young generations, they're not asking you to storm the beaches of Normandy. It's more like it's an information warfare right now. What you guys are doing, putting the information out there. I mean, you guys in your 20s, you should be worrying about having fun instead of battling the socialists, but you're out there on the front lines on the information warfare. So I do appreciate that.
You know, I think for us, like, we're at Turning Point SAS right now, and we're trying to make it more fun. We're trying to make us all feel as happy warriors so that we can continue the movement as happy freedom fighters. others. And that's what it's all about, is making this the fun thing to be a part of, instead of people feeling like, oh, I'd rather hang out at the club on a Friday night and not care about politics or our community. We need to show them that there's actually a lot that you can gain from joining this political activism community. So it's very worthwhile, and we need to make that sacrifice, even if it isn't fun. But Turning Point really makes it enjoyable, I've got to say.
Yeah, I mean, conservatives get the negative stereotype. I know you did the politics with propaganda segment. One of the questions that I wanted to ask is, they have Comedy Central, they have, Hollywood, and we have like Newsmax and Fox News, whatever, and it's like, it seems boring. It's news. Like, we need, like, the Real Daily Wire has something, but the only people that are actually going to pay to subscribe are conservatives, and we're not really going to reach. Like, I think we need to have our own network, which has, conservative entertainment and not just news and debates and things like that.
And that's the thing, I think at least we've addressed the problem that we do need that kind of content out there. It just takes time to produce it. Turning Point, what they're doing at tpusa.com/live is it's going to be unfiltered. It's going to be a bunch of different fun shows. I know Alex is getting more time for her show for politics and is going to do some other things, but it's not behind a paywall, so really anyone can get access to it via the live stream. And I think it's going to be a good start, but you're right, we need to make sure that we're reaching people that aren't just our base that want to see us. We have to reach new voices and people. But
Morgan, I appreciate everything you're doing and the information warfare that we have out there. If I keep fighting the commies, keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for joining me. Morgan Zegers, make sure you're following her on Instagram, and make sure you're following Young Americans Against Socialism. It's Yas over here at SAS today.
that's a good
Take
one.
care, everyone.
Tremendous show, tremendous success.